All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV, and our main website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And I'd like to welcome a new broadcast company to the X Zone Nation. WPBN TV is now with us, and welcome everybody at WPBN. We're looking forward to a very long and lasting relationship with you guys. I have to ask you a question, Exonation. Anyone you know suffering from cyberchondria? Yeah. Well, my guest this hour is Dr. Z, or he's known as Dr. Google. Actually, no, he's not. You know, this is the guy who has to fix and repair all the Dr. Googlings. And you know what? My brother is the worst one for this. You know, instead of going to a doctor and finding out what's wrong, he thinks that every answer in the world can be found on the internet. Well, in my humble opinion, the internet is the largest septic tank ever created by mankind. And if you're looking for feces, that's the place to find it. My guest this hour is Dr. Gzourides. He is a board-certified family physician, licensed clinical psychologist, author, and composer with a whole-person approach to wellness and the complexities of modern life. Having earned advanced degrees in medicine, psychology, theology, and music, Dr. Z is a diplomat of the American Board of Family Medicine with many years of experience in education, primary care, and sexual medicine. He enjoys being a guest on radio and television and has been interviewed by the who's who of the broadcast industry, including the Wall Street Journal, NPR, CBS, and many other media outlets. He holds an active membership in the American Academy of Family Practice, Texas Academy of Family Practice, Texas Medical Association, Texas Urological Society, Sexual Medicine Society of North America, International Physicians and Surgeons. Boy, I'm glad he came to an end there. I was running out of breath. Doctor, Doctor, you're not going to make this easy for me, are you? Why don't we just do this? No. Dr. Z, welcome to the X Zone.
Rob, it's an absolute pleasure being on the X Zone, and I want to thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Thank you. I should have you do my PR. You're fantastic.
No problem. We can arrange that. First of all, thanks very much for coming with us tonight, Doctor. You've got a very busy schedule. But I have to ask you before we go for our first break, is the internet that good when it comes to self-diagnosis?
I like the word you used earlier, feces, excuse me, but the internet's provided, in terms of medical information, it's provided lots of fantastic information for folks, lots of all good information that people would not normally have gotten. In the past, you had to go scour through library books and the like. But on the other hand, what we're finding is more and more people are using the internet and using these medical websites to self-diagnose, diagnose loved ones, and even to self-treat. Yeah. And in that respect, I've got a lot of cautions, and hopefully we'll get into a bunch of that tonight.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the books you've written. Stop Worrying. Yeah, I wish I could. Stop Feeling Tired. Yeah, sure. Tell me another one. And Don't Let Them Psych You Out. Look, yes. where do you have where do you find time for Dr. Z with everything that you're doing?
It's it's interesting. I multitask well, so I really am just impassioned about being able to provide information to people. So a lot of late nights, a lot of weekends, and the like in between, seeing patients and teaching and doing all kinds of other things. So, but I really enjoy it. I live for this, and it's exciting to be on your show and get to talk about it.
Well, God bless you, Doc. The medical community, in my opinion, are the undersold and unsung heroes of today's society. You guys do a fantastic job, and without the medical community, this world would be in one hell of a mess. Worse than it is already.
Well, we appreciate your kind words to that effect. What's interesting, over time, there's been, I think, less and less of those kinds of feelings toward medical professionals, and often more hostility, even as the cost of health care here in the U.S., for example, has increased, and all kinds of issues.
Hey, Dr. Z, I hate to cut you off, my friend.
Man.
You and I have to take our first commercial break. Exo Nation, the one and only Dr. Z is my special guest this hour. His website, www.livingwholelivingwell.com. This is going to be a great hour. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Medicine, the final frontier. These are the stories of Dr. Z. His mission in life is to make people healthy everywhere, in this universe and beyond. I don't know, I just couldn't help that.
My wife makes me stay in this universe, however.
Yeah, wives are known for that.
Yes, exactly.
How did you... tell me
Thank
about...
you.
You're welcome. You're having a good time, I gather.
I am. This is a pleasure
great.
being on your show.
That's great. Tell me, in your book, Stop Worrying About Your Health, How to Quit
Sure.
Obsessing About Symptoms and Feel Better Now. Tell us about it. What was your inspiration for writing this book?
This is interesting. Over the years, I've encountered a lot of patients who worry about their health.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know the term hypochondria.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that term is used very derogatorily toward people. But what I found in my practice and just in generally in life, that there's this group of people that are worried about their health all the time, but they're not really hypochondriacs in a diagnosable sense, meaning they function okay in life. They're able to, they maintain marriages, and they work and do all kinds of things. Go to church or a house of worship on the over the weekend, and do the rest of the things that all the rest of us do. But they just worry too much about their health. So I've been interested in this sort of subclinical zone of health anxiety. People who are worried about germs and maybe just a little quirky in terms of their thinking.
Right.
And so that's kind of what led me into this whole area of people who excessively worry about their health, sometimes to the point it's distressful, but usually so that they can still function.
I made a reference to Dr. Google when we started the segment.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like you to tell me what cyberchondria is and who is Dr. Google? Dr.
Google resides at the Internet Clinic here. And what cyberchondria refers to is an unreasonable escalation of health anxiety or medical concerns when everyday people use medical websites to search for medical information on symptoms and diseases. And often this includes self-diagnosing and self-treating. So what we're seeing now, and this term started kind of being tossed around 2001. Several years later, Microsoft did a study, and then more recently there have been some folks in Waco, Texas that have done some research into this. But finding that people are increasingly using the Internet to find information to self-diagnose or to self-treat. And in some instances, or actually in many instances, it's causing people to have increased anxiety about their health rather than alleviating the anxiety, which is usually the reason why people are doing all this searching.
Isn't Waco, Texas, where the Branch Davidian and David Koresh were?
Yes, and that's exactly why the current research is coming from that area. Just kidding, of course, though. But yes, Waco, Texas is where the Branch Davidian guys were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back then, I thought
actually the study's coming out of Baylor University.
Okay.
So so these guys are legitimate there.
Well, that's good to know. I always thought that Waco in the days of David Koresh stood for "We Ain't Coming Out." All right, sorry, timely joke.
That sounds good.
So how dangerous is it, doctor, from as a medical practitioner when you've got people going on the internet trying to save the few bucks it'll cost to go see a professional like yourself? How dangerous is it, and how often have you found and your fellow colleagues found that because of these self-diagnoses, self-treatments, that just complicates what the original problem was?
Well, these are great questions. I'm going to start with an example of a good example. My nephew very recently was complaining of pain in the right lower quadrant of his abdomen. Okay, he's a teenager. Okay, and he went to the internet, read up on that, and went and told his mom, "I think I've got appendicitis. It sounds like that's what it is from what I read on the internet." fortunately, she got him onto the hospital, and that